Welcome to the CFG Game Cast episode number 188, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers who like to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode every week and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love. Give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, or subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and so on and so forth. Or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Davis Green, Mr. CFG Games himself, and with me today is my co-host, who I have to say did his first in a long time sleep stream. The 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the third seat. What's going on, my dude?
Clearly, I'm catching up on sleep is what happened. What had happened was, I'm not going to go into super details, but like basically Thursday, I woke up at 3:30 in the morning. I stayed up until, I don't even remember. I fell asleep, or I went to sleep that night, and I didn't stream because I slept. And then I woke up at like 9 that night, and I had a bunch of work that I had to get done. So I just stayed up all night into Friday, had a thing in the morning, and I knew with my youngest being at home, no daycare, that I wouldn't be able to get a nap in until she went down for a nap. So I finally went down for a nap about 2 o'clock, slept for like 3 hours or so, got up, had some more work I had to get done, then we prepped for stream. What I forgot, though, was that within the last 24 hours, I had only slept for about 3 hours. So once pop them boodoos, all of a sudden, I don't even know. I don't remember. I remember we switched to the next game. We started playing it, and that's the last I remember. Next thing you know, I'm waking up in bed being told that the stream's still running, and I'm like, what? So it was overall though, it's been a solid week. I had a wedding I went to last week as well, which is fantastic. I'm so close. I'm almost done with Final Fantasy 16. I will finish that this weekend, and then more Exoprimal. They've got the Alpha Suit variants out now. There's a Savage Gauntlet going down, which I think we got that in at one point in time, but I'm pretty sure we lost. So it didn't work out so well for us. But overall, though, it's been pretty solid. I'm excited to get into some more Marvel Snap. Really start grinding, hopefully try to get Infinite this season, but we shall see.
Dude, the new Marvel Snap interface looks really good. I will have to say.
It's clean.
It's very, very good. Mm-hmm. They need to did you do the drops?
Oh, have I? Yes, I connected my account and stuff like that. I just got that connected today.
Did you get all three of the did you get all three yet? Because that's very
I don't think so.
You should get
that's
them.
Very cool.
Dude, the sunspot is my favorite drop out of the three, because you get Spider-Man. No, what were we gonna say?
I was gonna say, I love the fact that they've integrated Twitch drops as well, and I'm curious to see if it's just gonna be a Twitch thing or if they're gonna extend that to other streaming platforms as well. Like I said, man, I freaking love Marvel Snap. It's so much fun, dude. Like I had no idea, like, how much fun it was going to be when I first got into it. I was like, oh, what's this about? I love Marvel, so we'll give it a shot. But yeah, no, I'm loving the things that they're doing with it, and how they're continuing to come out with new cards and new stuff and making tweaks and whatnot. It's a fantastic game.
Yeah, definitely loving the game still. I mean, like, although I get frustrated because like as of late, the frustration for me recently in this game was I hate when you hit this one, like, for some reason you hit these like mental bars of like, oh, I hit level 77, and then you just can't get past 77. It's like, right. You're either just going back and forth 77, maybe to 78, but you go all the way back down to 76 or so, and you're just there for like days. This is probably, I have to say, this month's Snap is the worst I've ever played, because I was at 94 and I dropped all the way down to 73. And
what?
Yeah, because like I have gotten, I mean, now I'm at 84, but like I have never dropped that badly before. It's just like sometimes it's just not in the cards. I don't know what it is. Sometimes it just drives me insane. And then sometimes you just get so angry and you're just getting blinded by just blind rage of just like, what is going on, and trying to fix mistakes. It. Yes. Yeah, I know, right? That's exactly what was happening. So like, but now I'm getting up to 85. So I had to completely like go off the grid on like what I usually do, just so I can get my my totals back up again. Because
are you serious?
Yeah, like I built a deck specifically to counter destruction, because this is the month of destruction.
It really is, yeah.
All you were seeing, it was just like, oh, hey, okay, you got X now with X23 that came out. You're just like, okay, so you got people that are just mixing X23 with their crazy destruction Knowles. So I'm like, I got to a point where I was like, okay, this is going to be a five Knoll or whatever, and then and whatever. So I was just like, okay, so what if I just started using armor and just start containing where they're going to place Wolverine and all this stuff in. And after I started doing that, I was like, okay, cool. Now I know what I'm needing to do. So so it's ridiculous.
That's good to know. Playing hard counters. To be able to climb, but you're right. It's been all destruction decks basically.
Yeah,
and then sometimes a sneak Galactus deck, which I just,
oh god,
I hate it. It's always something that's in the back of my mind. Especially when I see an open lane, I'm like, I don't like that.
I will have to say, I'll give you already know where I stand with Galactus players, because I already told you they're just terrible people. Galactus players are. but I will say this: there was a good move that there was a guy who, because the big one that most people are trying to put in their decks again is Forge, because they gave him that buff to a +3. So there was a time, So Forge, so he did a really good move. I had to say I was not anticipating it, and so he had a guy, or he had a spider or some character in one lane. Then he was able to move it. It's either Nightcrawler or Jeff or something, and was able to move it when he put his Forge down in the middle. Buffed his Galactus to a 10 and then was able to destroy everything. And I was just like, I hate you so much, but I have to give you props on that one.
Good. That's good. That's a good call. That is a good call.
I was like,
most people would try the Shuri Iron Fist Galactus move.
Yeah.
As well.
Wait, would that work? That wouldn't work, would it?
You Shuri in the lane that you're gonna Galactus, you Iron Fist the Shuri out of the lane, but her thing stays in that lane.
Oh,
so as long as you play there, it's still, at least last time I saw, that still worked.
There's a special place in hell for that character, but Jesus, okay, a special place in hell.
That's another indicator that you're about to get Galactus.
Oh my god. That's terrible. I'm so glad I haven't seen that yet, but Jesus. Oh my god, no. Okay, but anyways, I know y'all don't want to talk about us talking about some Marvel Snap strategies, so let's just go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion through the previous week in the world of video games. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry itself. And we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners and viewers on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Kick, to be a part of the conversation. So by all means, if you're wanting to type in, if you have a strong opinion on whatever we're talking about, by all means, type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it with you, and it would just go around and just be one nice happy family there. So let's go through the normal rigmarole here. So Smitty, you're up at bat first. What are you bringing to the table?
Yeah, we got to talk about it. I know that we talked about this months ago, and this has kind of been an ongoing conversation. When we originally started talking about the Embracer Group, they made a lot of moves. They've acquired a ton of different studios and things of that nature. They've really been making a name in the gaming space. And here earlier in the year, they had announced that they basically had a $2 billion partnership, that did well for their stocks and all that good stuff. And, they were riding kind of high on that. And then here a few weeks ago, what seemed like out of nowhere, all of a sudden, this partnership fell through. That forced them to go into cost cutting mode, which is number one, is insane to me. That investment, like, to me, that was like, if you guys didn't have the money in hand, what were you guys doing? They already had that money slated for things, is what it sounds like. The fact that they have to go back, they've already stopped some projects from going forward. They've shuttered down some studios. Like, it hasn't been looking great for them. But we finally found out that the investment group, or the investors, the partnership that they were supposed to be partnering with, was actually CFG Games, which is the Saudi Arabian government-backed. I'm not 100% if they're a gaming. They're not a gaming studio, but like they're like they're like a group, basically
just
an
like
investment
Embracer.
group.
Just like Embracer.
Yeah, exactly. Now, what's important about this is, number one, the Saudis or CFG Games have pledged $38 billion to go towards the gaming sector. And we've seen a little bit of this because here in the spring, they actually made a deal to buy out Scopely Games, which is a mobile games, Marvel Strike Force, a bunch of really known mobile games that they have, but they're buying them out for $4.9 billion. That's part of their strategy and plan to go there. So it still hasn't been revealed exactly what took place to make CFG Games back out of this partnership with the Embracer Group. But clearly the ripples of that alone have been devastating to the studios underneath the Embracer Group's umbrella. And again, I think that kind of brings some attention to the fact that, the especially after the pandemic and stuff, the technology sector as a whole has really taken a hard hit. We've seen it all across the board, where people are having to slow their roll either on productions, or they're cutting staff. There's all kinds of cost cutting measures that are taking place. And I think a lot of this came from, especially when we were in there, the focus was on digital. Everybody was doing it and whatnot. That stuff has definitely toned down since we've gotten, basically what the new norm is going to be. So I think a lot of people, or a lot of these companies, overextended themselves and over predicted what they thought people were going to do. And then when things normalized a bit, that's when they're like, oh crap, we're just going to be losing money, or we are currently losing money because people aren't investing that kind of money or doing that stuff at a rate that they were when we first went into the pandemic. I think the other thing, I don't want to get too political or anything like that as well, but I think we also have to take into consideration, this is another thing, if you're familiar with Live Golf, that's the Saudi-backed golf organization that basically was taking on the PGA, I believe. And a lot of folks are looking at as them kind of trying to wash away the bad, there's what's the word I'm looking for?
Bad image or what?
No, not, well, definitely bad image, but the human rights. Sorry, the human rights issues is one of the biggest things that are over there, and a lot of folks are looking at this stuff. Them investing more in sports, them investing more in the video game world, is to kind of whitewash the atrocities and things that are happening over there as well. So I know that the Embracer Group's CEO Lars. That was something that he was questioned about, because you gotta, people are gonna start looking at you like, hey, dude, if you actively know that there's some shicey stuff going on, this is kind of counterproductive to what you say as a cultural thing to your company. How could you do that? How can you go in and invest what have you? So, again, I don't know if any of that stuff had any kind of impact on their decision, because obviously it was CFG Games that decided to back out, and it wasn't Embracer Group that backed out of this deal. So there's definitely something I feel that they had to have seen to make them pump the brakes, because I believe they had already put in like $1 billion of for stocks for Embracer Group.
I mean, could it be possibly because Embracer Group has, this year, could they possibly be what the Embracer has done so far this year? I mean, because the biggest disappointment that they've had, the biggest game that they've released this year, sad to say, was Lord of the Rings Gollum from Embracer. So, and then you saw how bad that was. They had to shut down the studio, and they lost a lot of money on that. Then you also got the upcoming, what's it called? I guess the next biggest thing is RoboCop is also them. So like,
okay, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, like maybe that like whatever they had slated or what their plans are, it may just could have been like, wow, this is not impressive for the amount of money that we're dishing out. We don't know. The deal with Bio or with Knights of the Old Republic is in a weird limbo state right now. It's in
right
and stuff. So I mean, it could be just like they could have just said, hey, we are not liking this direction that what this company is going to. We may need to reassess our plans on putting in money to supporting the group or whatever. I mean, it's very possible that that's what they like. I mean, I could easily see them wanting to kind of renege after they've seen how atrocious this year's been for them, for Embrace.
But here's the thing, though. So they recently had their investment call in terms of their stock, and they actually, for Q1 net sales, they were up, which bumped up their stock a decent amount as well. So they actually recently just had positive news in terms of their Q1 sales and what it's doing to their current stock prices and whatnot. So I think, and that's Q1. So their cost cutting measures aren't even within those numbers yet. So I only imagine it's going to be further and higher up as they start reporting Q2 and Q3 numbers. But they're able to bounce back like that, which is huge. But to me, it's still crazy that kind of investment, that kind of partnership was able to single-handedly, them backing out, was able to single-handedly make them, kind of force them into a restructure mode to where they're stopping development of games, closing down studios. Again, the Embracer Group was kind of like that place that I felt like games had a happy home to go, or studios had a happy home to go to without any kind of worry. And these guys were, I mean, all right, well, I don't know, how it goes, but at least it felt like a lot, these studios that were underneath some of these other bigger groups and whatnot, them being able to slide over. I was like, all right, man, there's still life there. They seem to let their people in the studios kind of do their thing. Although this is all me assuming. I have not looked that far into it or what their business is really like. But that's as an outsider looking in, that's how it's always kind of felt to me. So to see them having to make these measures, again, I don't think that was ever their intentions. But the fact that you must have had a ton locked up within this deal that was never actually this deal is going through. That's scary, dude. That's telling to me.
But then again, though, I mean, like when they decided to go back, when they decided to back out on that deal itself. Well, first off, was it Embracer that backed out, or was it Savvy Group that backed out?
Savvy.
Okay.
Savvy backed out.
Savvy backed out, and they were the one that they pledged that it was going to be like, this was $1 billion deal, I'm assuming. So I guess they're assuming they already had plans for the money that was going to be coming in to do for the future projects that they were planning on doing with said money and stuff. At least they did. At least they didn't start the projects that when they before that deal was finalized. But I would say this though, like of course, I mean, when you got a giant payday coming, you're going to be like, oh, we can actually afford this and do actually this, and this. But it's like, but the reality is, it's like, it's like, oh, don't, like, be careful, hold off before we decide to buy that $50 million mansion before until we have that kid's ash in our hands, So it's, I mean, I don't even know what to think about it because I'm not really familiar with Savvy Group overall, but the one good saving grace with Embracer to me, like in my opinion, is THQ. I think THQ Nordic actually does good stuff within that group, relatively. I mean, not like AAA stuff title, but good
Yeah.
stuff, you know. So the only saving grace I have for them to do this is that I just think that it's a shame that they're not going to get the money that they're wanting to do, or maybe they have to reschedule or repurpose everything because of this disappointment. But at the same time, maybe there might be an underlining on why they didn't do it, and and they decided, you know what, it's time to let's just say just lick our wounds and just come back another day, hopefully find maybe another another opportunity in the near future for it. So I'm just not really familiar with Savvy Group themselves.
And Retro says it is a head scratcher. It'll be interesting what comes out later as to why, if at all. There is a little more. So like basically the TLDR is that the deal, and agreed. So basically they're going to use a $2 billion deal that would Savvy Games would invest in development and publishing of games from the Embracer Group. Embracer Group had been promising investors news of a lucrative, transformative partnership with several industry partners. They've been saying this since last November, obviously, but the that collapsed here in not too long ago. Here's the thing, though. In the main note, it says Embracer said that the parties had reached a verbal commitment in October of 2022 that would have resulted in more than $2 billion in contracted development revenue over a period of 6 years. Here's the bullet points. All documentation was finalized and ready to go as of yesterday. That was a quote from the company. We asked for the execution of the agreement, quote, before our Q4 announcement. However, late last night, we received a negative outcome from the counterparty, and obviously no one seems to know, not even, or at least they're not divulging why Savvy walked away from this deal. Because what it sounds like is that this son of a gun sounded like it was locked in stone. They had the verbal commitment, and then at the 11th hour, they were like, "Nah, son, nah."
It's hard to say, man. But I guess the most conclusion is business, because like I honestly have no idea. It's. I mean, we just know that a lot of money is not being handed over to the next job, and we'll just need to see. Hopefully, they know how to pivot, or they have enough time or a chance to prove themselves later on. So we'll
see. I mean, again, I'm always seeing what they've got going on, but at least now on my radar is the Savvy Games, because I did not know about Savvy Games at all until this stuff kind of broke. So
is it Savvy SAAVY or SAAVI?
No, SAVVY.
Oh, I didn't know there would be two V's.
Yeah.
I just want to see what they're known for. Hold on. Let's see. Savvy Games Group. Okay. So here it is. Are they known for anything specifically? Looks like they're known for a lot of mobile games. Savvy Games Group.
And they've worked with the Embracer Group before, too. It's the other thing. It's like they've partnered up and worked together before. So, like, even more so, I feel like that is what a shocking move that they would do that at the, again, they had plans to be able to make the announcement and stuff. Yeah.
This seems like that's what it does. It seems like they're known for the Savvy Game Group is known for mobile games mostly.
Which the scope of purchase makes more sense.
Okay, so that's what. So maybe what it was is that Savvy Games wanted to dip their toes into more to be playing in an actual the console side and PC side, and developing or distributing. And also distribution as well. So it's possible that that's what they were trying to do. Maybe they could have said, it makes more sense. Maybe they should have just said, you know what, we'll get more money buying this studio over getting more before instead of investing into other studios to do that, because like that would make, in a way, that would make in my mind, it makes sense. I don't know. I'm not a businessman, but but yeah. So who knows? It's possible they might have just said for the better optimized profit that they decided this would probably be a better thing, because, like you said, they're buying Scopely, right? Or are they planning on buying Scopely? Okay, Because like it's funny we had.
Or no, I think they did buy Scopely.
Oh, they did buy him. Okay.
I believe. Yeah, I'll have to double check that, but
okay, because like
either
they're probably
they've already purchased it or they are in the process. Coming to investigate said. Okay, so I don't. They said that they were going to buy Scopely for 4.9 billion. I don't know that has actually gone through yet.
Okay, because I mean it's a lot of money on either way. Because like it's either like now it's like the choice in my head. It's like it's either spend 4 point something billion dollars on Scopely or go with our promise with Embracer Group for 3 point something billion dollars and do that.
It's crazy to me though that they've already purchased $1 billion worth of Embracer Group stocks.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
So well, they were only up for another $1 billion. I say only. Just another cool $1 billion. Like what, dude?
Yeah, but you can sell. But if Embracer said that they had a good year, they could easily sell their stock back and get more money than what they paid for it.
Which is true. Which is very true. Yeah.
Yeah. If they'll be like, you know what, never mind, Embracer, and then they could sell whatever they had, like liquidate everything, and then they'd be like, okay, here you go, we can sell it back to them or whatever, you know. So I mean, it's possible. So who knows? I don't know, man. It's just like this is all assumptions to me on what they could or what they couldn't do. It's not even a guarantee. But I can see like I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Like they said, oh wow, we don't think that their views are aligned to our culture of this group. I just think it's just money, man. It's like the bigger profit might be somewhere else that they found, and they're like, okay, we're gonna go this way instead of that way. You know, that's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
So
we'll see. We'll see if they what kind of moves they make here going down throughout the rest of the year, especially after their figures do come out. If that's something that they maybe take back to the drawing board or something and they look to try to do, or, and I don't think that a company is going to get into feelings about, well, you burned us last time, so we're not going to do that. They'll probably have something that's rock solid.
That's true.
Instead of doing that, I'm like, yes, this is definitely going through. We've been partners with them for years. I'm telling our investors, and then having to take a hit like that because the investors are like, oh, that big thing that we've been promising you guys since last year, it just fell through.
You don't think we were talking about? Yeah, never mind.
We got y'all hyped up about? Nah, ain't happening. My bad.
Yeah, forget about it.
We can go ahead and close some studios, starting with you, Gollum.
That would be funny. Then, like immediately, it's like, oh, we need to close some studios, and it's like before the end of that sentence, they're like, okay, the studio's gone. It's like, but why? Oh no, that's funny. Lord. Okay, let's see. What'd you say, Retro? Maybe the deal was contingent on sale outcomes of certain current games, and with the low sales they pulled out. I think of Golem. I mean, that's why I was, that's the first thing I thought of too. But it's, but it's weird because like when you're working with companies that are like trading money in the billions, that's because that is a short-term goal. And I don't think that and I think people do put into account, because there's no way in my mind. I mean, even though that they missed at a in the levels that they did with, like, they've basically failed that game initially. I don't think as a company that they had to have some sort of level of like, this game is not going to sell like 1 billion copies or whatever. So like, I think that like in the short-term goal, I think that that would be acceptable. But if they look at it at the long term, if they look at the company itself with Embracer Group as a long-term goal, there's going to have their highs, going to have their lows. And then I think their low was just like, I don't know if it would be factored to that specifically is where I'm saying, but I'm not, but I don't know. It's very like, I want to stress enough.
Yeah, I think too, because they're working with Amazon Games for the next Tomb Raider too. You know what I mean? So like, there's some big things that they've got on deck coming out. Like I can't imagine that Gollum had that much of a impact on whether this deal went through or not. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think so, because like, I mean, when Golem even came out, I think a lot of people were like wondering why, because like the game didn't seem like Yeah, the game didn't seem like it was something like that people were asking for. It's just that it was just it was coming regardless, you know. It's like, oh, hey, like who's asking for a RoboCop game? I mean, it's just like some of these questions are just they just wanting to do it, you know. So
yeah, and I'm okay with that because you get nice little surprises, you know, or you get big old heaps of fiery turds.
A lot of them.
Yeah, retro. I was kind of geeked about it, and then when I saw it, I was like, "What is this?"
The first, you know, it's like
never mind.
When you have to ask yourself why, like then it's not a good sign. You know, just normal. Like when the beginning of No Man's Sky, when No Man's Ski first came out. I was like, I looked at it, I was like, I don't get it. Like, why? And then I was just like, at first, at first, it did not appeal to me because I'm just like, what is this? No,
space exploration, freaking procedurally generated, infinite freaking universe in a game.
The very first version of that game. And you told me that you were cool with that.
No, I absolutely was not cool with that. No. I meant before the game came out.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Like, I was pumped.
When I first saw, when they showed what they showed, my first initial thought was, I need to see gameplay because I mean the idea of it sounds cool, but at the same time I need to see what they're trying to go with because like in a way it's very, very pretentious, like very like. That's saying a lot what you're trying to do in this world. So in other words, I was saying, I don't believe you. And then when I saw the video of it and it's like, oh, this is what you're doing. I'm like, no, this does not look good. This does not look good at all. So no.
You're just by yourself. What?
Yeah. Well, and then they were like, oh, well, they said it was multiplayer, but they made it, what's it called? Sharded, like, you know, like you had different kinds of different levels, like so you couldn't see the person that you were next to. They were in their own different world. So like I didn't like that.
What?
Yeah, so
I didn't like that either. I was like, I feel grifted.
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of the rare cases that they picked it up. I mean, with No Man's Sky, after 8 years, it's
amazing,
completely different game. It's a really good game now. But still, it's like, but that's not like a dime a dozen when shit like that happens. so like, right. I mean, you can really name it. Like, I mean, as of late, the two that comes to mind immediately is that and Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk really wasn't even that. And Cyberpunk really wasn't that bad when it came out. It was just very glitchy. It was very glitchy, and it was bad on the previous generation systems. But on the regular PC that ran it, it wasn't like it wasn't a disappointing.
I loved it.
Bad game. It wasn't. Yeah. So they just made it better. It's just gotten better and better as of late. Yeah. So there you go. But anyways.
Yeah.
But okay, well we'll see hopefully we'll see what the next thing is for Embracer and Savvy and all them. So although remember we had the other conversation of like, because like I told them I don't like, I respect the money that games like mobile games get, but I hate mobile gaming. I just do not. Like, as a gamer, I don't really look at mobile gaming as real games. I don't look at mobile gaming as real games. I don't. Sorry.
Dude, they got full on Warzone mobile.
You know
championships. There was championships.
Okay, here's the problem I have with mobile gaming. You remember do you remember Super Mario Run? That game?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
yes.
That was Nintendo's first mobile game that they decided to put on on iOS, specifically built for iOS. Made a lot of money, not because of microtransactions. It got a lot of money because the game was like $10 when it first came out, but then there was a lot of people that bought it. But without the amount of money that they got, they considered it to be a failure. You know why? No microtransactions. That's why. Because
wait, who considered it a failure?
Nintendo didn't. Oh. Yeah, Nintendo said it was a failure
because there was no microtransactions.
There was no microtransactions.
They knew that.
Well, there was no microtransactions. Well, this is their very first game. Remember, keep in mind, this is their very first iOS game that they had. So like, but the way the system works is like, I mean, even though they literally made like millions of dollars in that just doing a point A point B running game. That's all it is. They made a ton of money from it, and it was considered a failure because of the amount of money that was coming in. You know why? Because there was no consistent amount of payment that was coming into currency that was coming in for that game to consistently go. That mentality of gaming is irks me. That's why I don't like that. It's like, so you have to live by the microtransaction. Like I said, I respect the money, but I don't respect the game. Like at all. Yeah. That's where it comes down to. Didn't Davis get bamboozled by Stadia? Actually, no. Technically, Stadia gave all their money back to. They gave all the money back to me.
Yeah.
So I didn't get bamboozled.
No, that's right. I forgot about that. You did get your money and stuff back.
I got everything back.
That's right. He didn't. I thought it was going to be a classic bait and switch, and they said, no, we're shutting it down. Here's your money back. Here's all your things.
They gave me $107. They gave me $200 and something dollars. So I paid for one game on Stadia, and that was Darksiders Genesis. And then they gave me my full money back on the starter kit, and then they gave me my money back for all of that. So no, it was worth it. So you know what, call it whatever you want, but they did good. They did good on it. So
they did. Yeah, no, that's right. I forgot about that.
Okay, that's good. But my topic, we're gonna talk more about some Baldur's Gate, and here's, but it's actually kind of an interesting topic to me because it's a little bit of two different things. The first thing is I mean, as you know, there's no secret. You already know I love Baldur's Gate. This game is fucking great. I'm sorry.
It really is.
Sorry to swear. It's a really, really good game. So I am definitely looking forward to this. And I can actually, you know what, Smitty, I can't wait to for your opinion on Starfield. I think this week. It comes out this week. So
I'm not doing early access.
Are you not? Oh, I thought it was day one. Was it day one?
It is day one. Day one's the 5th. Technically, early access starts at the end of this week. Yeah.
Okay.
Not to mention, I'm not even going to be
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
Trust me, I thought about all the scenarios. I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. But anyways, so I was playing. I've been loving Baldur's Gate. If you definitely wanted to check out my playthrough of it, definitely check it out here on Twitch, CFG Games. But there was a big issue here. So the game came out the beginning of August. The plan was it was going to be coming out on consoles on September 6th, so it's going to come out next week on the PlayStation 5. And the initial plan was for the Xbox version was going to come out next year, 2024, because of an issue that Microsoft was having, or that Larian Studios is porting the game over to the Xbox Series S. So the problem is Microsoft's statement saying that games on the Xbox Series X and the S has to be similar. They have to play the same way on the X just as much as they have to play the same way on the S. It gives developers a huge restriction. So in a way, there's companies that don't want to play. I didn't even really think that this was an issue, but apparently Smitty told me that there was. But there's companies that want to do stuff, but they can't because they're limited by S's limitations, physical limitations, and Baldur's Gate was definitely one of them because Baldur's Gate had an issue with split screenplay. The biggest issue was that they couldn't. The console version would allow you to have two players to play multiplayer in a split screen format. So it works perfectly fine on the PS5, works perfectly fine on the Series X, but for some reason it just does not play well on the Series X. So what ends up happening is that it glitches, or it just the frame, there's massive frame drops when it happens and stuff. So because of this, it was going to be forced to be pushed back on delay until next year for them to look into it. Microsoft, it was a big issue to a point that Microsoft actually brought some of their people to Larian to try to fix it, and they could not fix it. That's how serious it was. Yeah. yeah. So like they were stuck, and so now the problem. So here's the thing. So in a way, they're treating the Microsoft was treating it like this. They were losing. They were going to lose the console version of this to PlayStation with the PlayStation not paying a cent for exclusivity. So that's what their problem was. So now what was Microsoft to do? Microsoft officially yesterday says that they're going to make an exception. That's what they eventually decided to do. So Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be the first game on in the Xbox Series library where there's something you can do on the Series X, but there's what you can't do on the Series S, and it's going to be split screen. So with them dropping split screen play for the Series S, they're going to be able to release the game on September 6th for Xbox players. As well as everyone else, so they're going to be able to do it. So I mean, it's good news because, like I said, I think it's fine for them to do it. If the more people that have a chance to play this game, the merrier. I think this game is definitely a must get for most people. But I guess it kind of leaves another issue though, because my biggest issue is this. It's like, dude, I think what year are we in? This is year 4 for this generation, right? Like came out in 2010 or 2020?
2020, yeah.
Yeah, 2020. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so it's about 3 or 4 years. So now it already feels that the Series S is antiquated. Like, I mean, not saying it wasn't already, but like now the problem is that it is quite glaringly showing that the limitations are already at their peak for the Series S. So do you feel like they kind of felt, I mean, like now if developers are seeing this exposed issue with the Series S, is this going to be a future issue with other games that are going to be coming out on the system? Or is this something that they're just going, like, because like if Baldur's Gate is the one that's opening the door for them to make that exception, like who's to say what's going to happen in the next year, the next 2 or 3 years for this? So like so I just kind of wanted to get your take on this.
Yeah, dude. So it's just insane to me. Number one, and we were talking about this beforehand, but I followed the developers of this game called Quantum Error. They ran into the same issue and decided just not to release on the Xbox because they could not develop. They had already developed for the highest fidelity stuff, all that thing and whatnot. Trying to get them to do it on the S, they said it ran super slow, it was choppy, and they could not get it to work. So they just decided then to not release it on Xbox. I don't know if this will change things now that Xbox is saying, well, we'll make it for the X, but not the S. But they've gotta feel foolish to do something like that. Again, we were supposed to be in the next generation of games. If you're telling me right now the S can't play, people are having issues developing games for the S because, again, in development, you start from the lowest common denominator and then you scale up. But people are trying to build for the next generation, which that should tell you right there, the Xbox Series S was never really a next generation console. And it is showing right now. It is going to continue being a problem. I don't know what they do. What I imagine is going to happen, the S will exist, but it'll be more about the Series X and then whatever their pro version or whatever comes out. Because I imagine something's going to be coming out here next year. We may get an announcement at some point in time this year, maybe closer towards the end of the year or something like that. But I imagine something's in development. I think the S is kind of just it has to get left behind, dude. Like I feel like there are too many developers having issues they have no problem with the Series X, but when it comes to the Series S, this is not the first time that I'm hearing developers are just like, you know what? We're just not going to do Xbox. We're not going to deal with this. And you said Larian was trying to. Xbox sent their people out to get it to work, and they could not get it to work. That should tell you everything you need to know right there.
Yeah, but it's actually kind of funny because this is what I think it is too. Because this is what's really kind of annoying. Is what frustrates me with Microsoft. Like, I think that it's I think Microsoft had a have their cake and eat it too situation. Because you remember the longest, what is it that Microsoft has been telling gamers for the longest of time what they're trying to create, for this generation of games? They don't care about consoles. They don't want console. Right. All they cared about is they're wanting to increase their cloud services and stuff like that. But they decided to bring a system out. And don't get me wrong, I understand there's a place. There's people that cannot afford a PC. There's not people that can't afford certain things. I understand you're wanting to make a budget system to accommodate for that. But I feel that they were trying to they're trying to put a little bit of everything and trying to get a piece of everything. But it's not helping them in their longer run of what their longer vision is going to be, which is the cloud service, which like I said, they want to be completely cloud oriented on gaming overall. When you put this limitation on your console side like this, and you're also putting a limitation from the developers that want to make good games for you without doing that. And that's what frustrates me of it. I do see what I love what they're trying to do with their gaming, and I love what they're trying to build something that's not been done before. But at the same time, it's like, come on, man, you kidding me? You decided to put you're basically kind of having the mentality of what old school Nintendo was when you're putting these kind of bar breaks because and then putting these rules into motion saying, oh, you are trying to prove that saying your consoles are in good quality, such good quality that your top tier console can also play games on the top tier, can also play on the low tier games too. It's like you just put a crutch on yourself, essentially,
right?
From this. So it's like, wow, dude, it's like that's what's like really really frustrating to me. It's like, dude, it's either pick a lane or don't pick one or just stop trying to sell me on one thing. Just stop trying to sell me at all. Because in my mind, it's like, it's always about like, oh no, we're wanting to be cloud services. We want you to, if you have a television, a phone, a laptop, whatever, we want you to play anywhere, everywhere, all at once. But then you make a game system that costs $300 that can't do these important limitations. Because you wanted to save money, because you wanted the people to purchase the Xbox Series S. And I know a lot of people bought the S. My editor on CFG Games bought the S because they didn't want to spend Series X for the Series X and stuff. But yet at the same time, you're not getting the full Xbox experience from all of that. So it's like, God, it's like, man, you basically kind of screwed yourself with this idea. If you want the, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I would say Retro says, and I completely agree with them. They shouldn't have released two consoles. They should have just done the Series X. Put all their stuff into there, and then everything else that they already had. And I understand, I get it, making something that's also more affordable. But like you're saying, at this point, they're costing themselves money because they're restricted there's so many restrictions to be able to develop for this console, and then they're taking a hard line in the sand of, nah, if you want to work with us, you gotta do the X and the S. And people are like, all right, we're just not going to release it on Xbox. And then they said, oh shit.
It's like, come on, guy, come on.
We did not consider that as an option. We did not consider that as an option.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Now they're having to go back and be like, all right, you can do the X and don't worry about the S. That's just what it's going to end up being, because it's too much of a hassle for developers to do this. And developers now have a plethora of different ways of getting out their games to people. So, they're less reliant to be like, yo, you got to be on Xbox. It's like, no, I don't. I can be on Steam. I can do all these other things.
And the irony of all of this is weird. It's like, Microsoft already has a foothold on the PC game. That doesn't even make any sense to me. It's like PC comes out on PC. It's like, okay, here you go. Okay, so by default, you have to have Windows to play this game. Like, it's like, so of some sort. So like, why would you want to, like, why do you like need to do this kind of thing? Like, it's really really odd, and I just think that they just need to like I said, if they want to go all in on it, like go all in on one service than the other, then do it. Or you know what, like you said, if they do a half step up, I'm still kind of on the fence if I will just be willing to pay the money to get like, Xbox, well, definitely not for an Xbox, for a PlayStation, probably like a PlayStation 5 Plus or whatever they're going to call it, or whatever.
Right.
It just seems very weird that they would just, decide to go like, oh, okay, we're going to make a game system that's going to be stronger than the Xbox One, but not as strong as the Series X, but not as strong as the Series X or PS5. And but here we go. What's it called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't make sense, dude.
Yeah, what's up, Dust? Dust is saying, speaking of developers, use code IndieDevEra for 50 free Indie Dev summons in Raid Shadow Legends.
Raid Shadow Legends.
There you go, free promos. There you go.
It just never made sense, dude, for them to they shouldn't have done that. Well, not only, and this is a little off topic, but also too, they lost their not lost, but what was it with their rights to their streaming service? They had to give Ubisoft something, right?
Oh, you mean with Activision Blizzard? Oh, okay. So what?
Okay,
what's happening is this, because the problem is that they don't want Xbox to be in charge of, like, the publishing rights, the online publishing rights for it. So what they're doing is that they're using a third party company. They're using Ubisoft to be able to publish the online game. So basically, it's kind of like a facade of publishing a game that's still technically theirs, with that, like an Activision game that's under the Ubisoft title. So they get money from Ubisoft, gets money from that. So it's showing that it's not a monopoly when it comes to that. But they're giving them a 15-year right to do 15 years of publishing for future games and stuff, so they can get around the quote unquote monopoly, from it. So so that's what they're doing to get around the European the British sanctions of so they can get the deal to finally go through. So hopefully we'll see where that's going to go. But like I said, we'll see. It's very interesting to see what they're going to do. I'm actually really, it's actually kind of interesting to me, because I'm kind of wanting to see what they're going to do. Because, like, I think the fruition, in my opinion, with Microsoft itself, of like all the stuff with these moves, isn't going to happen until the end of this generation to the beginning of the new generation. Because at that point, they don't have any leg to stand on saying they have like the games, the studios that they bought out, all the different kinds of things that they've done through this whole generation should be showing the fruits of their labor of what they're planning on doing in the next gen. So yeah, we'll see. Absolutely, they'll have no excuses to see what they're building, but I hope they don't make the same mistake. If they make the same mistake again, then they just go F off at this point. Like, I mean, am I wrong? Can you imagine if they decided to make another two console game system again?
That would be ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't learn your lesson from this, then shame on you. You're a fool. I can't even imagine what the next gen consoles are even going to look like or tote. But all around, that was just a bad move. They should have. I mean, like, dude, it's hard enough doing one console. Why are you going to try to juggle two at the same time? One being severely and much less powerful than the other, and then you're going to tie them together and try to force that on developers?
Yeah, I know.
Clearly, that was a foolish move. That was just dumb.
It's just we'll see. I mean, I already wasn't a big fan of them buying out studios, because I feel like they've always kind of stipend their creations and stuff. But we'll see. Hopefully they prove me wrong on it. But like with especially with the big thing is, like, for instance, Obsidian Studios is one of my favorite studios of all time. One of my favorite because they did Fallout New Vegas and stuff. Hopefully the new game that they're making, I forgot what it was called, like Way something. I can't remember, but like, hopefully we'll see if it's they're not going to perverse it. Let's just say that. The best way to describe it is not to perverse it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's fantastic.
Okay. But all right, but I guess we have a little bit of time left. But I just wanted to also just say one more thing, because the last topic here, last makeshifto topic here, I would say, is that I was kind of wondering, have you ever had a chance to talk to Charles Martinet before? Like, have you ever talked to him?
I haven't personally, no.
Okay. Yeah, well, like Charles Martinet is the voice of Mario. He's actually does many voices for Nintendo throughout the years. I believe his first time voicing that character was Mario 64.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, it was. Okay, so yeah, he's been doing the voice game of Mario for almost for about 30 years, almost 30 years. So so he finally announced that he is retiring from being the voice of Mario, and he's now going to be a Mario ambassador, whatever the hell that means. But
Nintendo's just going to keep paying him, just show up in a couple places, go to some conventions. I know, love you, Charles.
That's essentially what that. I mean, I guess, yeah. So that means you have to go to Nintendo.
It's like getting your after you retire and you get your retirement package or whatever. Yeah, that's basically his retirement package. Like, you'll show up to some events, we'll continue paying you, brother.
Okay, that's fair. That's true. Yeah. So to be like, okay, here you go. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, he's been doing it for so long. It's like he's the original voice of Mario. I mean, you can't.
That's crazy.
I mean, he's going to be in the books for history now, in video game history now, because it's like he's doing it. He did Wario too.
He did Wario, Luigi, Mario, Waluigi, and I feel like there might have been somebody else, but he did multiple characters. Yes.
Yeah. He definitely did a lot of different kinds of characters. Definitely. So I guess the real question. So I wanted to know the question: who would you think is going to be the new voice of Mario?
Apparently, that person has to already have been casted and whatnot, right? Or cast?
No,
not casted.
Not really. The next game is Mario is going to be
Wonder.
Mario Wonder, but that could be his last game. Martinet's last game could be Wonder, because
no. I think they announced that the new actor is in Wonder.
Oh, okay.
I do not believe it's Martinet.
Okay, but they haven't officially announced it, so we need.
They have not officially announced. So we can clearly the clear front runner is Chris Pratt, right? No, I'm playing.
There's a special place, man. A special place for you.
There's nothing controversial about that at all. Everybody's gonna love it.
You need to go. You just need to just get out.
I have no idea who will be. It's crazy to me to think that it's been the same voice for that long, since we were kids. You know what I mean? This dude, and what a legend. Like, that dude just literally, I mean, I'm sure he did other things too, but to be able to play such an iconic, all he was is Mario. That's
voice acting wise, that's all he did. That was his career. Was that?
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's
he didn't do
anything else.
He made a whole career out of Mario, dude. I love it. I love it. That is amazing.
Yeah, he wasn't
dude, talk about hitting the jackpot back in 2000 whatever. Going in and being like, or I'm sorry, not 2000.
Yeah.
But that would have been the 90s. Yeah. In the 90s, being like, I'm auditioning. Yeah. It's a Mamma Mia. It's a me. And he gets paid for years, son.
That's freaking hilarious. Oh, you know what?
30 years. Woohoo! Wait. Yeah, you were going to say it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, Alan Tudyk. Oh, he said, no, wait, 100% it's going to be Alan Tudyk. Alan Tudyk would be a good one, I would say.
I don't know who that is.
He played Wash in the Firefly. It's hard to really say.
I never watched Firefly.
He does a lot of different roles. Like, you've known him, you've seen him, you just may not know him. But he's done, like for instance, like, have you seen Star Wars Rogue One? He was the robot, the giant robot in Rogue One. Like,
he was a robot.
The giant robot in Rogue One. Yeah, it's really hard to say. Like, he does.
Oh, yes, I do know him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I definitely have seen him. What have I seen him in?
He's been in everything. He's like one of those. He's one of those dudes who's been in in everything. But you know what? He's the white version of Nate Dogg.
What?
Nate Dogg has been in every freaking like other rap video and everything, and then he's like, he's in everything, man. Like that's
why I recognize his face from Dodgeball. That's what it is.
See, Pete the Pirate, yes, or Stan the Pirate, or whatever his name was. He's
been in a ton of stuff. He's in Andor too. Gosh, dang.
He's virtually
he's in a lot. Everything. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that dude. Yeah, I love that dude.
I like that one.
Yeah, the robot from iRobot.
Steve the Pirate. Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, I love that part of Steve the Dodgeball. It's like, hey, where's Steve the Pirate? It's like, who? Steve the Pirate. Oh God. No, Alan Tudyk would be a good one. I would say, that would be kind of cool if what Lance Reddick was like. What if Lance Reddick was the voice of Mario? Would have been awesome.
That would have been, well, you know, I thought somebody said something interesting up here. Where is it at? Who said it? Somebody said something about Retro says one pod said that they might have enough sound bites to use voiced with AI, and they may have offered him a huge check. That would totally not be worth it. I don't think, because what would happen for that kind of stuff, dude, that's in perpetuity. It doesn't matter. Like, you would have to do it had to be a big bag in order to be like, yes, you can use my voice in perpetuity, because you can get it. It can say anything in AI. That's part of the AI is part of the reason too.
Yeah, the fight of what's going on with the SAG and the Writers Guild and stuff is exactly because of this. And I think that right now it would be like there's no way he would have done a deal on AI. There's no way, because like it would have been, because he would have gotten less. It would be either less or whatever until they get that ridiculous assignment for it.
Tara Strong though, Tara Strong's not a bad guess. I could totally see her. I could totally see it, dude. I could totally see it. Yeah.
Sounds like Tommy Pickles.
Mark Hamill. I wish it. The hell happened to Mario?
How his balls go up in his. Mark Hamill, well, Mark Hamill would be, but he's retired. He's not doing voiceovers anymore.
Oh, he's not at all. Damn, dude. Yeah, good for him.
Seth MacFarlane, yeah, possibly.
1 billion? I mean, for $1 billion.
With a B? Yeah.
You can take my voice. You can use it. You can use it. I don't care what you use with it. I'm a billionaire now.
The only person that I know that actually has a legit deal of with AI is James Earl Jones, and that's the only.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, because he has a deal with Star Wars to use his voice for Darth Vader.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes
sense. I don't know,
sense.
but they must have given him money, a lot of money for that.
Sure.
Yeah, so I don't know what it is, and that's the only one I know has a direct contract for that. But I'm sure there's probably others, but because now Vader's voice is never going to change. So right, but other than that, man, I don't know. I mean, I can't even think. I really can't think of anyone. Oh, that'll be funny if they kind of go with out of the box to get Jaleel White to do
that would be voice of
Mario. So you can say I was Mario. Amazing. I was Mario and Sonic. Then he just does the same voice as what he did as Sonic and
Mario. Oh, that would be
It's like chili dogs. Oh no, that would be great. That would be so.
That would be
great.
hilarious.
Oh, okay. Folks,
we'll see who it is, though.
Yeah,
we'll see who it is.
Folks, thank you for listening to episode number 188 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation, as always. We will be back next week. Smitty will be out at PAX West, so we're probably going to be me and Lex, and we don't know, maybe a third guest or so, but that's okay though. But if you did miss out on this episode, that's all right. You can also check us out on all podcast services. We release it every Monday in the morning on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, so much more. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices. Hey guys, also be sure to check out our website, confreaksgeeks.com. I will be doing an interview with the narrator of Baldur's Gate 3 next week. So that will be a very cool. That'll be a very cool interview to have, because I've been wanting to talk to folks like that, talk to her and some other voice actors from there, for a while. So also check that out. But be sure to check that in the near future. But in the meantime, once again, this is Davis and Smitty signing off. Y'all, take it easy.